What's up, guys? It's been a long time since I've made a video. I am not consistent with my content. I really have a lot of content in my head. My life is always busy, and I've been working through some issues that have basically put me at a disadvantaged spot where I just didn't feel like making videos. And I've gained a little bit of weight, and I don't like to report that either, so that kind of puts me off to making the videos and updating where I'm at. So for VSG update, my starting weight was, and everybody likes to say their starting weight, my starting weight was 310 pounds when I had surgery. I was as high as 340 in my heaviest in my life, but I think around then I was at 310 because I had really tried to lose weight, and they want you to lose weight so that your liver's shrinking a little bit for surgery. So, and my lowest that I ever got down to was 210, and currently at 228. So I've regained about 20 pounds of regain. My diet has changed a lot, actually, and if you've watched my videos, I fluctuate between, I've been vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, ovo-lacto, sometimes flexitarian. I mean, I just change all the time. But I'm always learning new stuff, and I'm always open to new ideas. I still think the bottom line is that less animal consumption and more plant consumption is better for the human body and for the planet and for the ecosystem and really everything. But I'm not here to debate that. What I would like to do is give you an update on what's happened with me in regards to hypoglycemia. Specifically in regards to reactive hypoglycemia. So VSG patients have, unfortunately, a lot of us encounter this situation and will become hypoglycemic. It's actually probably more accurately reactive hypoglycemic. Definitely work with your doctor if you ever want to find out about this for yourself, because I'm not a doctor. I'm just somebody who is extremely, I dig and I do a lot of research, and I'm very, very, very anal when it comes to knowing about subjects, and I'm compulsive. I have a lot of OCD, and whenever I'm interested in a subject, I really, really, really dive in. And I found out a lot about this through reading and talking to other people and with self-experimentation. So what is reactive hypoglycemia? Reactive hypoglycemia is when you aren't normally a diabetic person, you don't have high or low blood sugar, but when you eat meals, it may result in a very, very low blood sugar. And so this low blood sugar is normally associated with diabetics, or high blood sugar, they're associated with diabetics. And what typically will cause it with reactive hypoglycemics, which I am, I had my fasting blood glucose levels tested, and they were in the normal range. So normally, if you're diabetic, they're going to be high or low almost all the time, and you've got to moderate it with insulin. So what happens is there's a lot of theory about it, but I'll tell you what I believe happens. I'll tell you what I believe causes it, and I've found it to be true now, and I'm almost 100% can prevent any incidents of it. So whenever you eat a meal, normal meals that we have are a mixture of macronutrients. So they're not all fat or all carbohydrates or all protein. There's a little bit of mixture. There's some that are, like sugar is pure carbohydrate, table sugar. But I love popcorn. And I'll explain to you what happened with my first incident that I figured this out. I love popcorn. I'll go to the movies and I'll get the big tub of popcorn, and I'll have almost all of it eaten before the movie even starts, just through the previews. And I did that a few times, and I noticed within maybe 2 hours, sometimes sooner, I start to feel extremely weird. Like I'll feel like pins and needles are on my shoulders and my arms, and I'll feel tingly. Usually my heartbeat starts to go up, and sometimes it'll be an erratic beat. And I never knew what it was before. I just felt horrible. And one incident, it got extremely bad. We were walking around the mall looking for things to buy, and I had eaten a bag of popcorn on the trip. We got to the mall and walking around, and as you're walking around, you're using your blood sugar up for the energy. And my blood sugar got lower and lower, and I was shaky, and I was very, very just vibrating. And I told my wife, I said, I feel I might have to go to the doctor. I don't know what's wrong. And she was like, go sit in the car. I'll be done in a minute. And I went and sat in the car, and there was a grocery store right there. And I walked over there and I just intuitively knew that I need to get a candy bar and a Dr. Pepper. And I don't like junk food. And I was like, get some sugar. My body intuitively knew you need some sugar. And that's exactly what I needed. I got this candy bar, Twix or something, and a Dr. Pepper. She drove the rest of the way to her family's. And within 15 minutes, I started feeling better. So I was like, I had low blood sugar. I'd never had it before really in my life that I could quantify. And I knew that I had low blood sugar. So I started doing digging, and I started watching videos, and I started reading medical journals, and I started looking at, there's a correlation out there for, like I said earlier, VSG patients and having reactive hypoglycemia. And here's what causes it. There's not a lot of material out there that'll tell you that this is exactly what it is, but I know now through trial and error, talking to other people, naturopaths, doctors, whatever you want to call them. I've been speaking to a ton of people about it. So what happens is if you ingest a food source that is both a carbohydrate and a fat, and which is what buttered popcorn is. If you eat popcorn that's not buttered, no oils at all, hasn't been cooked in oils, and doesn't have oils on it, then it's just almost strictly a carb at that point. And that's actually the best way to do it. But we don't do that. We put butter on it, we put it in oil, we cook it in oil. So let's say that you eat that buttery popcorn. So your body gets fat and carbohydrate together in the stomach. They get metabolized. The fat tends to go in and coat stuff. Just as if you put your hand in a lard of fat and you rub your hands together, it's coated. It's really hard to get that off. It's you gotta get soap and water and really wash and get that off. But if I put my hands in sugar's all over my hands, I go in there, it's easy to get off, water soluble. Fat's not extremely water soluble. It hangs around your digestive system for a while. This is why hydrolyzed oils and overt oils, like even healthy, even vegetable oils like coconut oil or canola oil or lard, any of that, they're very hard for your body to be for water solubility. So what they'll do is they'll coat your cells, and then the blood sugar that's going through your blood is not able to successfully enter your cells. So you have the carbs are now being processed and broken down into sugar, and your body says, hey, there's a lot of free circulating sugar in here because the fat's coating the cells and they can't go in. Sugar can't enter the cells. And so it responds by saying, hey, pancreas, you need to dump some insulin because there's a lot of sugar in this body's system. And so your pancreas will dump just a shitload of insulin out because it perceives this as a crisis. And whenever the insulin hits your blood sugar, it's going to drop all of your blood sugar incredibly low, relatively quick. You still need the blood sugar to use for energy, and your cells are going to need the sugar whenever they lose the fat coat. So what happens is you'll have a dramatic drop in blood sugar, and you'll have all the symptoms of reactive hypoglycemia. This can be life-threatening. When I ended up going to the doctor, long story short, she said, you're not diabetic, your fasting blood glucose is good, glucose was good, but I got a kit so that the diabetics use to test your blood sugar, and when I have felt these in the past, I would take the measurement of my blood, and my blood sugar would be as low as 45, 43. Anything below 50 is really an ER trip. But if you have those glucose tablets, or you just know to get some water and dilute some sugar in it and drink some juice or something, you need about 35 grams of sugar, you'll start to feel better. And so now that I knew this about food combination, I stopped eating any meals like that. If I ever have a meal that is both a carbohydrate and a fat, the carb's going to go first. For example, if I have rice and avocado, which is even a healthy fat, it doesn't matter. And it actually is more water soluble than oils. But let's just say for the sake of it, I won't cook my rice in oil. Cook my rice in water, and then I'll put spices on it and I'll eat it. And the second thing, I may eat like a vegetarian patty, or anything that has a significant amount of fat or oil in it, anything, is going to come second. Because the rice is going to get into my system, it's going to start going down the chute. First of all, we have a smaller stomach, so it funnels things more in a smaller hole. Rice goes first, starts to process that, breaks it down into sugar. Sugar is now easily absorbed into the cells because I don't have fat coating my cells. So then afterwards, the fat comes, and it might coat the cells, and by then it's okay. So it's not, I don't eat a ton of fat already. I have eliminated a lot of overt fats. Nuts and seeds, they also have fats. Fish, fats. Eggs, fats. So since I've broken down my eating to simple carbs first, let's say a baked potato, that's first. It only has spices on it. Maybe salt, pepper, maybe garlic powder, but I do not put sour cream, butter, oils on it, nothing like that. I definitely don't get the loaded baked potatoes at the restaurants because they're cooked in oil, they're fried. French fries are both carb and oil together. I do minimal French fries, if any, ever, because I know now that that's what causes my reactive hypoglycemia. So since I do that, I almost never have reactive hypoglycemia. I occasionally will slip up, and this is another topic, but I used to be a heavy drinker, and I'm not a heavy drinker, but I'm not really a light drinker either. I'm a moderate drinker, and sometimes I'll slip up if I'm a little buzzed and I'll eat something wrong, and I can tell that I'm starting to get the first tingles of reactive hypoglycemia, and I'll just sip a couple more beer or whatever, or even go have a Sprite. But alcohol is actually a negative impactor for reactive hypoglycemia, which alcohol is never, I'm never going to say alcohol is good for you. And I know that the health recommendations are 2 units a day, no more than that. But even 2 units a day, your body reacts to alcohol instantly as a toxin and starts to shut down all of its other processes to deal with this toxin, and which includes insulin production and sugar reaction. So alcohol is not good for you if you are diabetic and or have reactive hypoglycemia. And trust me, I'm working on complete elimination of alcohol, but it's out there with every social event, with every holiday. It's hard to get away from it. It would be a lot better for my body if I just completely eliminated alcohol. And maybe I will in the future. But anyways, I know this has been long. I don't like to do 12 to 15 minute videos. So reactive hypoglycemia is something that VSG patients are susceptible to, or probably going to encounter. Of the groups that I've been in on Facebook, I see people all the time talking about, my blood sugar has gotten low, now I'm on sugar pills, my doctor doesn't, I'm not diabetic, my doctor doesn't know what to do about it. I'm telling you, through trial and error, through reading books, through reading journals, through talking to naturopaths, talking to doctors, talking to anybody that I can, eat your clean carbs first. Don't mix them in your meals, okay? If it's eat oatmeal, a perfect example of a meal. Eat oatmeal first, and then if you have to have eggs, eat eggs second, or breakfast meat of whatever meat that you eat that second, because meat has inherently, even low-fat meat, even low-fat chicken breast has anywhere around 15 to 20% fat. So eat those second, so that you won't have any fat coating your cells, and the carbs, which broken down to sugar, will uptake without any type of inhibition. This will allow you to process sugar correctly. Your pancreas won't spike insulin, and you won't have a reduction of blood sugar that causes you to crash and can be life-threatening. And not only that, it's incredibly painful and feels horrible. Hypoglycemia bouts, if you have them, they're not fun. They'll knock you out for a day. Your body just tries to recover from that, and it feels like it's in panic mode. And I have gotten those under extreme control at this point. If you have reactive hypoglycemia, talk to your doctor about those things. Look at your diet as for how to help control it. The doctor's going to want to put you on pills and take these little sugar pills with you, and when you start to feel it, eat them. I'm telling you how to prevent it. You guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's been helpful. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time.